we had the two problems, right? One was that the moves were not getting exhausted. Why is that so? So let's try to look into, how the code is working. So let's begin, from the beginning. We do have our assumptions over here. We have our board 3x3. We have the scanner, the player, the winner, which is 0. The player is defaulted to 1. And then, we have a move count initialized to 0. So we are good over here. While, the winner is not yet declared, meaning the winner is always 0, then we tell the next player to give the next move. And this is also one thing, right? That all the moves are exhausted. The game has ended. We really want to break this particular loop. So we would break this particular loop only when we are having make move equal to true. Now, this keyword break is present inside an if. But remember that the break statements, they do not have any effect on if statements, okay? Break is only for the loop. So it should break if make move will result in 2, okay? So let's go to make move. Now, the make move is going to take the row and column. It's going to check if the row and column is valid or not, the move is valid or not. And the only way to check it is if board row call is equal to 0, then it would return true, else it would return false. So that looks proper to me. So if this is equal to 2, then we do the move and we increment the move count. Else, and we have this. So this should not execute. Now let's go ahead. It would print the board. It would check the winner. Now if it checks the winner and the winner status is 2, that is where it would return a 2. So let's go to check winner. And here what we are doing is we are checking the score basically. After checking all the score, if the scores, any of the scores are 3, then the winner is the player and the game has ended and we are returning 1. Else, if the move count is equal to 3 cross 3. So instead of move count equal to 3 cross 3, if I just put it equal to 9, that's at least, something which probably might be making an issue. Let's try to check this. So I checked it. It's a draw. We still, do not have the proper output the way we wanted it. Okay, so now one issue which I see over here is we are always, calling the make move method twice. Now this is a method which is actually changing the state of our board, right? We cannot call it twice. We have to call this only once. So I'm going to cut it from here and then paste it over here. It should be called once, and here we are going to check, the move status. And this is the move status which we are going to now check, whether it is 0 or it is 2. And over here, let's just have it an int over here. And, every time we are making a move, we are, creating the move status and checking whether it is 0 or 2. And now let's try to run this again. So I'll just check, whether again it gives me the proper output for my inputs for a draw board or not. So now I checked it. I do have a board with a draw. It does not have any winner, but then it says, the game has ended and the winner is 1. So that means that there is some, logical issue which is happening in my code. So even though now we do not have that particular message, the pace is already marked just because, we are not making a move again and again. We just made a move once and then we have a move status. So we do not have that issue, but we do have, this issue that, the game is ending and declaring the winner over here, when actually the game is a draw. So to actually check for this, why this has, entered this particular loop and, it says the game has ended, we really want to just, for debugging sake, we want to check what is the row score and what is the column score. So I'm just going to put what is the row score, and similarly, what is going to be the column score. This is a good way of debugging and finding out the parameters which may cause some error in your program. So now I'm going to print what's the diagonal score. So I want to know, where the issue is lying. And finally, I'm going to check, what's the cross diagonal score and why, we have that kind of a score every time I'm having this kind of a board, and why this player 1 is, shown to be the winner. Because this is the statement which we have over here. It is not present anywhere else. So it has to be present within the particular loop. So the winner one is there, in the diagonal. So we do have this particular game, the winner one winnings. So instead of now having this print statement over here, or let's just keep the print statement, let's actually, try to, in fact, input some case in which we do not have the diagonals and the cross diagonals making any player win. So let me try to run this now. So I would put for the player 1, I would put 0 and 1, and then for player 2 I would put 0 and 0, and then for 1 I would put 1 and 1, and then for the player 2 I would put 1 and 0, and then for player 1 I would put 2 and 0, then for player 2 I would put 2 and 1, then for player 1 I would put 1 and 2, for the player 2 I may put 0 and 2, and then for player 1 finally we just have this 2 and 2 left. So now it says correctly all the moves are exhausted, the game has ended and is a draw. So yes, now our program is working correctly. We never had the game ending and the winner being established, so this line need to be printed, which is a great thing. So I'm just removing this. So yes, so we do have our correctly working tic-tac-toe ready by now. This is how you would create something working, functioning for the user. You would modularize it, you would refactor it, you would debug it using either the debugger or the print statements. You may also want to document it properly to say that the player with zeros is marked as the player 2, and the one which with the x's is marked as player 1, and the empty board would be marked as 0. So this is going to be your tic-tac-toe. You can also look into the code and do any improvements if you feel that any more refactoring would actually make it more readable, simpler to understand. And then all the best for your assignments.